Just a little over 2 weeks until the NFL resumes week one. Preseason is done. 53-man rosters are done. We've got to discuss that. Plus, we're going to come at you with some record predictions tonight. AFC South fans, I hope you are ready. Let me bring in the panel. Fellas, Derek, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm super excited for the season to get started. You know, you get a chance to watch the preseason game last week, and the Colts just mollywopped the Bengals on live TV. So I'd love to see that, and hopefully we can carry that momentum against the Dolphins here in week one.
There we go. Ruben?
Man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Great. Happy to be here. I'm ready to talk some football with you boys.
Let's do it. Dalton? Duval,
hey man, another week of being first place in the AFC South. I mean, it doesn't get any better than this, guys. I'm just pumped to be here.
Nice. Michael, the guest host, who's the actual real host. How you doing, man?
Hey, I had to bring sexy back, so just good having a week off, but back to be talking. Glad to be talking ball with y'all guys.
All right, perfect. Well, as I stated at the top of the show, 53-man rosters are in place. There is a lot to talk about. I've been sifting through some things, and I found some things that kind of shocked me with some players. So, Derek, we're going to start with you. Give me anything that you saw with the 53-man rosters. And listen, there's surprise cuts, there's surprise keeps. There's also guys that you're just super happy for that made the team. And then there are always a little bit of roster juggling that goes around where, maybe like I know the 49ers, they cut a punter today that they're going to bring back tomorrow, but they need to sneak somebody onto the roster. And so there's all these little politics that go on. So just talk to me about what's going on with the Colts and what you saw with the roster.
Yeah, defensive wise, I was very interested to see how the defense would match up, because with defensive coordinator Lou Anarumo now part of this team, I didn't know how the numbers would go down. Like, would a position have more players or less players based on how he runs it? Because it's a lot different than the Colts usually do it. And this year, the Colts are keeping 11 defensive linemen. So it is a deep group right now. I mean, normally the Colts keep 10, which, I mean, it's not that crazy, but, you adding an extra defensive lineman in there, and 10's already a lot. So there's that. And then I wondered if the Colts would only keep 4 linebackers, and they did this year because Lou Anarumo's defense, they don't really run a lot of linebackers. So that's not a huge surprise. And it's only 4 right now because one of the guys that's currently on our roster is went to IR to start the season. So that doesn't really surprise me. The cornerback room is where things are getting crazy, because just last night, the Indianapolis Colts traded a 6th-round pick to the Minnesota Vikings for Mekhi Blackmon. Never heard of him before, but supposedly, I mean, he was a solid pick in, I think it was 2022 or 2023. I can't remember, but he missed all of 2024 with an ACL injury. So he's just coming off of that. So, with that being said, there was a lot of changes to the cornerback room. Juju Brents, I think, is one of the most surprising ones. A guy that was, again, has dealt with numerous amounts of injuries through his first 2 years. And now he ends up getting cut, which was definitely a shock. I did not expect that. I should have probably expected it with them trading for Mekhi Blackmon the way that they did. And a undrafted free agent also got in over him because I guess Jonathan Edwards has a extremely high value when it comes to the athletic traits. So the Colts obviously interested in that. And I'm hearing that the Colts are going to have an individual workout with Mike Hilton tomorrow. So that could be another cornerback move that the Indianapolis Colts might make. So this cornerback room has a lot of different changes in it. I can't even keep up with it at this point. offensively, I don't think there's really anything crazy. I thought that they would keep 4 running backs, but they ended up only keeping 3. So outside of that, mainly the defense and the cornerback room is the primary craziness factor there.
What about Sam Womack? I know that the 49ers cut him last year. He ended up over there and played
he got
really good football. Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, that one's also wild because, again, he played last year when the Colts depth chart was getting decimated. And, he played some good minutes, out there. I thought he did actually relatively well. But again, with Lou Anarumo and Chris Hewitt and how they want to run the secondary, I just don't think Juju Brents and Samuel Womack really provided what they were looking for this. And I think we should have seen that coming because, again, when the Colts drafted Justin Wally this offseason, Lou Anarumo definitely had a say in it, and Justin Wally was going to be a starter. So that was one guy that was going to lose some minutes anyway. But this entire offseason with how Lou Anarumo feels about this secondary, it is just completely opposite to what the Indianapolis Colts have done in recent years, building up that secondary. It's a lot more veteran guys and guys that have some natural pass instincts that Lou Anarumo is looking for.
Yeah, it's really interesting because you do get a new defensive coordinator and things change schematically. And so, obviously they brought in Travarius Ward. That was by intention, but you guys had some injuries. I know you had some injuries there and it seemed kind of sparse. So to lose some guys that you feel like can contribute is an interesting choice, and we'll see how it plays out. But those were the ones that kind of stood out to me. All right, Ruben, I'm looking at some of the cuts over here for the Texans. And if you can't play offensive line for the Texans, maybe the league isn't for you anymore. And I'm looking at about 47 offensive linemen that got cut. So why don't you walk me through what happened with the Texans here?
Yeah, one major thing they did on the offensive line was they decided to release Trent Brown. Unfortunately, we found out later that he is going to be brought back on the practice squad as he tries to get healthy. Cam Robinson, early this morning, it was tweeted out by, I think, Shefty, that the Texans were, considering trading him, meaning that our second-round pick, Aireontae Ersery out of Minnesota, will get the start at left tackle as early as week 1 against the Los Angeles Rams. Another thing notable is the Texans right now are currently only having 2 tight ends on their roster in Dalton Schultz and Cade Stover. They did not retain the tight end that they received in the John Mechie trade, Harrison Bryant, and they released their 7th-round draft pick, Luke Lachey. So I believe the Houston Texans will be on the tight end market very soon. Would not surprise me if a deal gets done, with a tight end as early as tomorrow, because they definitely do need a tight end 3. But all eyes are still on the offensive line, man, as we get to see who is going to be the starting 5.
Yo, Ruben, you trying to take Jelani Woods off of us?
I don't want anything from the Indianapolis Colts. I don't want anything from a franchise that's about to be, at the bottom of the barrel and their season over by Halloween.
What, you don't like EJ Speed enough that you just don't
He's
want
not
to
going to
take
be starting for me like he was for
you?
He's not going to be starting for me like he was for you guys last year, right? Your starters are our backups.
He's 6'6", 255 pounds, the most athletic tight end that's ever come into the NFL ever. Does that not sound enticing?
Why didn't you keep him? Why didn't you re-sign him?
Because he had a hamstring injury in 2023 that kept him out all year, and I think it was an Achilles.
Desperation.
In 2024.
Well, right now EJ Speed is slated as, I think, the 4th linebacker on the Houston Texans depth chart. He's definitely going to be a special teams guy. But I will say, though, Derek, he has looked good in training camp and in the preseason. But he's our 4th linebacker right now.
Just don't say anything to him on Twitter. He might block you.
He's very active on Twitter. I noticed that.
He's very active on Twitter, bro.
Does he search his name up?
He was blocking half of Colts Nation on his way out, okay? So if that lets you know anything.
Dude, actually, I came across a story this last week that was pretty disturbing. The Jimmy Ward story. It's again another 49er. Dude, what the heck is going on with Jimmy Ward?
We have no clue really what's
My
going
man is
on.
on bath salts. It's crazy.
Yeah, when you hear the M word,
Yeah.
It's never a good story, right? When meth
No.
comes into the situation, but he's on the NFL exempt list, so we will not see him at practice or playing. I doubt we see Jimmy Ward this year, but it's just very strange because with the Houston Texans, normally they don't have these types of problems, and this is kind of strange coming from someone that was a captain for you, just last year.
Well, you guys did sign Damon Arnett, so you guys wanted some problems, but he's cut. You guys did
Yeah,
cut
he's
him,
gone.
so there we go.
Oh yes,
Right.
and then Joe Mixon, unfortunately, will not be there for at least the first 4 weeks of the season. Then when he comes back, right, the 5th game's against Baltimore, do you want that? No. Then you have a bye week following that week. So the earliest that that Joe Mixon can be back is potentially week 7, Monday Night Football against Seattle. So for the first month and some change of the season, it's the Chubby Show. So a lot of things moving.
That's so sketch. What's his what's the injury that Mixon has?
So we don't know what's going on. From what we heard from the grapevine, that it's an ankle injury. We don't know how severe it is, but for you to be out the first 4 weeks, not at training camp, not at like not playing out at the preseason, I wonder if this is longer, than 5 weeks. This is going to be something to monitor going forward. Joe Mixon just last year for you had 1,000 yards and double-digit touchdowns. So we got to figure this out.
Interesting. Tekken is my world says, fun fact for y'all. It's about what I told UCF last week. The Texans had their worst years in post-election years, and history might not be on their side.
I gotta
interesting.
Let me see. 2017.
Hey, if you fact check this, it's gonna be nothing but facts, bro.
Man, okay, hold on. 2017, the year after, dude. The year after, we lost Watson. That was tough. We also lost in Game 7 that year.
No, 2017, y'all lost Savage.
We lost Savage.
Tom Savage was starting week 1 of the 2017 season.
Oh, and then CJ came. I'm
yeah,
sorry,
the Jags got 10 sacks in that game, but then they brought in Deshaun Watson.
Okay, yeah. He got 10 sacks. Then we brought in Watson.
And the offensive line still hasn't been fixed.
It hasn't, but you know what, man? We're still in the same spot that you guys are in. Just still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, that's true. We did go to the AFC Championship game that year.
2013 and 25. I have to see what the hell went on with our teams then. Looks like there's some lore to this, boys.
Interesting.
Something to bring back to H-Town.
He's pulling out receipts.
Dalton, my man, talk to me. What's going on with the Jaguars? Any surprises over there? Any favorites? Like if this were Hard Knocks, are there any favorites that made the team that you guys are all just jazzed about? What's going on?
I mean, with this one, I think a lot of it was pretty standard. I think the big surprise thing, like really, as we evaluate this roster versus the roster last year, it's just that Trent Baalke kind of sucked balls, right? There was only 4 guys from the 2024 draft that are still on the Jaguars, like the 1st round pick, 2nd round pick, 3rd round pick, and the kicker, the magic kicker that they got on day 3, right? Like both the 4th round picks got picked. Pretty much all the rest of the day 3 guys got cut. It's it was really bad, and there's no wonder why we took such a big step backwards last year. The Jaguars, a 3rd round pick from 2022 got cut in Chad Muma and a linebacker. But I mean, outside of that, I mean, nothing really too surprising. I think on our end, I think we can highlight a couple things. I think the Jaguars, there's the top 4 receivers I think are really good. I mean, maybe some of the best top 4 receivers in the league with Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, then Parker Washington and De'Ami Brown are a couple really good 3s and 4s. But, they had a guy, Austin Trammell, make it as a 5th wide receiver, and there's only 5 wide receivers on the roster right now, right? So I'm kind of looking at what we do in the next couple of days because, I think there's a chance that the Jaguars could potentially grab 2 wide receivers from the waivers. They were in, according to Sean Payton, who accidentally kind of blurted it out in his press conference, the Jaguars were actually in on potentially trading for the wide receiver that they moved over to the Saints. So, that's something to really look forward to. Also, one thing that kind of sucks is we learned today that the safety that the Jaguars got in the 3rd round, Caleb Bransaw from Tulane, it looks like he's going to be on the season-ending IR, which really sucks to lose a rookie like that, especially, the Jaguars didn't have a 2nd-round pick with the Travis Hunter thing. So, you're looking at, and then the other 3rd-round pick is going to be a backup offensive lineman. So you're not going to get a whole lot of help from your rookie class, I guess, at the beginning of the season. But I don't know. Outside of that, the Jaguars, they made a couple moves with trading offensive linemen. Last week they traded Luke Fortner 1-for-1 for Colin. I forget his last name. Colin something, a defensive tackle from the Saints who played Colin Saunders, a defensive tackle, nose tackle type player. And they also traded Fred Johnson back to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 7th-round pick next year. So outside that, not many things too surprising, but we'll see kind of how many players the Jaguars pick on the waiver wire because they do have the 5th priority, so it's pretty high up there.
Bransaw's out for the year, man. I really liked him coming out of Tulane, so that's a tough break. 3rd-round pick. Muma seemed to be a bit of a fan favorite, though. It's kind of interesting that they cut him. Yeah.
Not really. He wasn't a fan favorite.
Not really.
Everyone hated
Just
him.
joking.
It was weird when they got him because in 2022 they signed Foye Oluokun to a lot of money, right? And then in the draft they traded up into the 1st round to get Devin Lloyd, and then they didn't have a 2nd-round pick, and they used their 3rd-round pick on Chad Muma. So it's like, if you do the numbers in today's NFL, why are you investing so much in 3 linebackers when you're playing nickel so much? So we're like, I wonder what his role is going to be. His role was literally special teams. And when we got in there, he was constantly getting juked out in the open field. So, it's whatever. Is what it is. We're moving on to better days.
No, I definitely saw that sentiment on on Twitter. Muma was not a fan favorite. You guys hated him, so I just thought it was good. All right, Michael, talk to me. Give me a little bit about the Titans. My guy, Xavier Restrepo, looks like they're trying to sneak him on the practice squad. I hope somebody picks him up. Guy's going to be a stud. Just, you heard it here first. But other than that, talk to me about what happened with your Titans.
Well, you make a great point right there. Xavier Restrepo was really the biggest eye-on guy coming into the entire camp situation. And really, it was just he didn't get enough reps, and there's still a lot of work to be done with him. So obviously, wasn't going to make this roster. But, the best thing is Titans have the number 1 pick on the waiver wire, so they're going to be real busy in the upcoming weeks, not only for tomorrow, but I really expect Xavier Restrepo to be on a practice squad, and they're going to basically just get him tuned in and just get him developed going forward. But, I think, with him knowing that Cam Ward's going to be here, and I know he'll have other opportunities, he knows that this is the best place for him to be. But from a starting standpoint, a couple things that did shock me today, besides just initially knowing what 25 starters were going to be there. James Prochet, definitely I felt was going to be a guy that was possibly going to be a punt returner for the Titans. Unfortunately, ended up being waived. I see him ending up somewhere else because somebody's going to want his services, and it really kind of shocked me, especially the fact it seems the Titans are potentially either going to let Chimere DK handle the punt returns, or maybe they have their eye on somebody on the waiver wire going forward. Maybe they'll pull a trade off. It's really hard to say right now, but Prochet, I really felt, had a really great camp, had a really good off season, and just one of those players you thought was going to have an opportunity at having one of the 53 jobs. And another kid that really shocked me, Brandon Crenshaw Dixon, the undrafted free agent out of Florida, heard a lot of great things coming out of camp about him. Really didn't get to see much, but at the same time, he was getting a lot of rave, especially from the press. Bill Callahan really apparently likes him the right tackle position. Maybe he's a project guy that they get him working at different positions going forward. But it's really cool seeing a guy that actually has a chance as an undrafted free agent to make the final 53.
Well, I mean, you guys, it's hard to make the wide receiver room for Restrepo. You guys do have top 5 receiving core according to your quarterback, so it's very understandable. I get it. Isn't that what he said? Didn't he say like top 5, top 3, something like that?
We'll go top 10. I'm not going to play I'm not going to play devil's advocate here.
I'm just saying that's what he said. Just going off of what your quarterback said, he likes him. So we'll see. He's gonna have I think you know what, I will say that Cam Ward was a player that a prospect that I wasn't too sure about, but he seems to have it all together. Like he's a really smart guy. And obviously the athleticism is there. You guys, regardless of what the record is, there's going to be so much excitement from watching him this year and just seeing how he develops. That is the win this year. Can he develop into an NFL starting caliber quarterback and a high level one? And if he can, you guys are good to go for years to come. So that's really the biggest thing that you guys are watching out for, I imagine.
Yeah, it's a true underdog story. You go from a 0-star recruit to being the first overall pick in the NFL draft.
Pretty crazy. All right, before we get to the record predictions, I can't wait for this one. This is going to be nice and spicy, I'm sure. We got to talk a little bit about the sponsors. First of all, we got to talk about Patreon. Link pinned to the top of the chat. Last week, you guys heard it. We had a couple of call-ins. The way that you call into the show is you join the Patreon. That will give you access backstage to all of the live Roundtable sports shows. So make sure we got one. Actually, we got one right now. That's crazy. We will get with them in just a minute, but that's how you call in. You will have access to this show. You will have access to all of the Roundtable sports shows. We're going to get to a caller in just a moment, but first we do got to hear from our main sponsor, RotoWire, the best tandem fantasy football app that there is. Promo code RTS for 15% off. Fantasy season is at its peak. We've got the biggest draft weekend coming up. Cannot wait for that. But if you want to win your fantasy league, then that means you've got to have a great tandem app. And there is no better one than RotoWire. You can link your league directly to it. No matter what your league setting is, 2 quarterbacks, IDP, keeper leagues, what have you, you can set it up here and mock draft to be fully prepared. And then once you come up with a game plan so you don't get squirrely on draft night, you can plug that game plan in, go with a tandem, add it to whatever league you have, and it will give you advice throughout the course of that draft. Not only advice from them, but advice that you've essentially given yourself of players you don't want to pass up, that type of thing. So the way that you do it here, this is how I use this app. I've used it for years. You sync a league, you go here, you choose whatever you use from RTS Sports, CBS, NFL, ESPN, what have you. You can also add any custom link if you use anything else. You go here. I'm not using Chrome, so I can't do it from here, but you essentially can tie your league to it, mock draft to it, and make sure that you are golden on draft night. Like I said, there is no better tandem fantasy football app than RotoWire. Check them out. Promo code RTS for 15% off. Before we get going to the next step, though, we do have big Jags fan calling in once again. Let's hear from him. What's up, big Jags fan?
What's up? So I'm gonna call in you guys every week when somebody says something crazy, but Titan Rossi is not here. So I'm sorry, Michael. You got to take the blunt of this. So he said Cam Ward was the second best quarterback in our division, and I got some more stats for you. I think Ruben C.J. Stroud is the best.
Thank you.
Then Trevor Lawrence is second. And then I do think AR-15 is third. He is better than Daniel Jones. And I do believe Daniel Jones is fourth, and then Davis Mills is fifth, and then Cam Willis is sixth. And I call
Mills love.
yeah, and I call him Cam Willis because he has the same mechanics and play style as Malik Willis. And the Titans fans, you don't go from a 0-star recruit to a good NFL quarterback. He is not going to be good.
And how many other quarterbacks do you know about that's actually worked out for?
Well, I know it's not going to work out for Cam Willis.
And I'm sorry, what was your name again? Jags fan. I want to make sure I properly address you.
It's Big Jags fan.
Okay, big Wags fan. Let's go ahead and break this down. First off, it's fair enough that you're going to put him at the bottom of the list. He's a rookie quarterback. Why are you going to rank him with quarterbacks that have NFL experience? So, I mean, did you really need to call in about that?
Well, I had to talk to Titan Rossi, but he wasn't here. He seems.
I'm
So
more than
that's
happy
what
to fill in for Rossi.
That's why you had to take the blunt of it. He wasn't here, but he put him at second in the division, which was just crazy to me.
I think the craziest thing was Rossi said that he thinks the Titans are going, what was it, 8-9 or 9-8?
He said 9 to 10 wins. That's wow.
That's insane, bro. I think it's one thing. I think he's just talking out of his chest when he talks about Cam Ward. There's no way he actually thinks he's number 2 right now. But that's ridiculous. 9 to 10 wins for the Titans next year. I mean,
Michael's not denying it.
and I mean, I don't think Cam Ward scored a touchdown in the preseason against 6-string defenders against the Vikings. He couldn't get a touchdown. How is he going to be good against starters? I don't understand.
I mean, you got to start somewhere, Jags man. I mean, wouldn't you agree with that?
No, I don't think so. I think Cam Ward is going to be a big, huge bust, and y'all be drafting a quarterback in next season, I believe.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So Big Jags fan.
I mean, like I said, my friend, you're entitled to your opinion. The thing is, the funny thing is Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones are basically the same quarterback with the same stats. So
I don't think Daniel Jones has made a
you can Google it. Google's free.
Yeah, you're right. But
hey, Big Jags fan, listen, I love you calling in with these spicy takes. You do have to make sure that you hold to this, though. You have to call in all season long now.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to be a fan favorite. Okay. I'm going to be here every week. And shout out to Ruben. Ruben gives good stats. He doesn't say anything crazy. He's pretty good. Good.
Jags fan, let me ask you this. What do you think Cam Ward's end-of-season stat line is going to be?
I think he throws at least 15 touchdowns and 15 picks. 15 for 15.
What about yards?
Yards, probably about 2,400.
So now, if I was to make a bet that Cam Ward was to throw over 15, would you be willing to take that bet?
Over 15 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
You'll take that bet?
Yeah, but
beard up. Put the beard up.
We're talking about passing touchdowns, right? Not total.
We'll say passing touchdowns, of course.
I'll take that bet.
So let's just make this bet. If he doesn't pass over 15 touchdowns, I will personally buy you a personalized jersey.
All right, and then I'll buy you a Cam Ward if he does.
You don't have to buy me anything. I would like you to make a donation to your nearest food bank.
I could do that, and I'll show you the receipt or whatever I need to.
Okay.
I love this.
Then we got a bet. All right. Hey, Big Jags fan, we actually have another caller. I appreciate you, brother. We will hear from you weekly, it sounds like. I love this bet, man. Great call.
All right, see y'all later.
Take care.
That's the easiest bet.
We got ourselves a bet. Okay. Listen. We got another caller. Eric is calling in. Eric, what's up, man?
Can you guys hear me?
We got you.
Okay, so I got a question. I'm a Jags fan, but I got a question actually for Derek. And I'm just curious, if I was to ask you for a percentage chance, what do you think the percentage chance that Anthony Richardson is secretly elite and we just don't know it? Thanks.
Well, if you had asked me this question last year, I would have said the chance of it is like 25-30%. I'm gonna tell you right now, I think it's like 2%. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. It's probably 2% because it's from what I'm hearing is like it's not even the fact of the talent that he has that's the issue. It's the mental ability outside of being on the field. That's his biggest issue. He's having issues in the meeting room. He's not the first one in the building every day or even at any time for that matter. And so when it comes to, that, I don't think the guy's elite. The problem is like he has the talent to be, but I don't think his his mental IQ and where he's or what he wants to be is matched up with what he's willing to do yet.
Is that good for you, Eric?
That's good enough for me. That's all I wanted to know. I'm just surprised it's not I'm surprised it's not 50%.
I'm not
because Anthony Richardson broke Derek. Like the
these guys will tell you. I was
named
adamant at this time last year. This guy was going to be.
You were adamant this time 2 weeks ago.
He said 9-8, right? He said 9-8. Yeah, I remember.
This time 2 weeks ago, you were like, if he called in, you'd be like, you guys don't realize that when you look at Anthony Richardson's projections from back when he was in 17 at Gainesville High School, he was throwing on Friday nights in the third quarter on rainy days 48 touchdowns. I thought that's where you're gonna throw at us, Derek. So I give you a lot of respect for just, I mean, every week I feel you growing, right? I mean, 2 weeks ago you were Delulu. Last year you got down to earth, and then now you seem like a very calm, composed, smart podcaster.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, Eric, man, thanks for calling in. Great call, brother. We appreciate you calling anytime, all right?
Absolutely. Thanks.
All right, man.
Yeah, shout out to Jags fans.
Dude, Jags fans holding it down on the Patreon.
We're carrying the Patreon.
Yeah, you are.
Chats.
Yeah, you are. Rando says, Duval Dalton, what's good, bro? Go Jags, Jack's life. I love that. Dude,
I think he meant
who
Duval
knew there were so
Dalton.
many Jacksonville Jaguar fans?
Hey, we're out
That's
here.
crazy.
We just don't have wins. We have fans. We don't have wins.
Okay, fair enough. Actually, I will say, your stadium kind of sucks when I went there, but the fans were great. When I went and watched this was 2 years ago, 49ers play over there. I really enjoyed myself. The fans were fantastic. Had a great tailgate with them. A lot of fun. So you guys are good by me. You guys are good by me.
Oh man, you guys kill us whenever you guys play us. I was at one game in 2021. You guys had the ball the entire first quarter, and you guys only kicked a field goal.
Sounds about right.
The entire first quarter, the 49ers had the ball. I'm not even joking. And they didn't get a touchdown to kick the field goal. And then
that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. Doesn't surprise me whatsoever. All right. Let's do some record predictions. Let's put the money where our mouth is. Michael, we're actually going to start with you. We're going to start with you and work our way back. Let's go. Give me the standings. Give me the standings first, 1 through 4, and then give me the records for each of those teams.
Well, let's go ahead and start 4-1, like you said. So I'll go with the Titans starting at 4. I think they get about 5 to 7 wins at this point. There's still some work to be done on the roster. I do think Cam Ward's going to have a good year. I think his wide receiver room is going to really help him out, especially just with experience. But it's a team that's filling in holes, but I do think they're on the right path of getting themselves to where they need to be going forward long term. I'll go with the Colts third. I'll put them at about 6 to 7 wins. Daniel Jones is really my big question mark. I like what they have on the offense and defensive side of the ball. If they can get some more secondary help, I think that's beneficial to them. But, I'll go third with them. Give me Jacksonville at 2. I could see them potentially 8 to 10 wins. It's not too far-fetched. I like Brian Thomas a lot. I really think he'll eventually be a top 10 wide receiver in the league. And honestly enough, I think Trevor Lawrence and Liam Cohen are actually going to be a good fit together, but it's just going to come down to just if he can fit the scheme and just get it down path real quick. And of course, Ruben, I know you're sitting there smiling. So give me the Texans to win the division this year again. I do question the offensive line a lot, but I think this is a Texans team. They could do about 9 to 11 wins, but if CJ Stroud can continue to grow in the right direction, and if he's not going to be held up with his new offensive coordinator, I still think they're right now the top team in the division.
The question is if Anthony Richardson was starting, would the record prediction be different?
Derek, you might want this.
There's a 2% chance that might be different.
Oh, all right. Well, let me go around the horn on this one real quick. So, Dalton, he had you guys at number 2 in the division. without giving your record predictions, is he off his rocker? You feel pretty good about that? Was he fair in his assessment of your team?
I mean, I honestly believe it's pretty fair because my predictions will probably be pretty similar. Don't mean to bury the lead, but I think he's pretty level-headed. I think that's, one thing I've realized is when your team is down in the dumps, you get very level-headed about what's going on around you. And when you're sky high, sometimes you say things that make you look like an idiot. Okay. And I've experienced that in live action just from being on the Roundtable. So, yeah.
What moment had you
Ruben?
like that, Derek? I mean, UCF.
I don't know. Ask Texans fans.
What? Okay, hold on. I gotta be in on this joke. What happened?
Oh, dude, there's
Oh,
lore.
no,
There's,
yeah.
so, Houston. No, I'm sorry, Jacksonville wins a game in Houston, and our buddy UCF drops a video. You see, Houston, I told you guys, Trevor Lawrence is better than CJ Stroud. Million views. 1 million in
No,
like
I think it has 5 million right now.
I was gonna say it was like 1 million within like
the first 48
hours.
yeah, the first
most.
48 hours. And I'm talking about he's so hated. I have my dad sending me his video, and he's like, who the hell was this Jaguars fan? He better not ever come to Houston. And I was like, man, you should check out the Roundtable, Pops. And he's like, that's him. That's UCF.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, it was the
find
running
video.
joke for the end of the year. So
yeah,
Wow.
I guarantee you more Texans fans know me than Ruben just because of that
It
moment.
was pretty bad.
Thanks.
It was pretty bad.
And more Texans fans know me than Jags fans as well.
Do you still get trolled from that?
Oh, bro. I got a lot of trolls from that. And
He
like
needs security in Houston, then. Like
I probably do not want to go to Houston. I will say that. I've had people come at me making choice word selections about what they would do if they saw me. So yeah, it is what it is, I still troll Texans fans because I can put out a tweet right now and just some kind of bait because I'm very good at laying bait for Texans fans. And bro, they come after me, man. Like if I might need to use them because I have enough like verified followers to be able to get monetized. I just need more like video and I need more impressions on my tweets. So I may use Texans fans to get me over the hump to get me monetized on Twitter.
Now, okay, so Rich Boy, he brings it up. The Jags did lose like 9 straight games after that video. So it was like a running joke every single week they went by, and it was a loss. And we were like,
and they kept sending that video out.
The issue is the week after that was when Trevor Lawrence messed up his ankle, and he was just never the same. And the Jaguars were like, I think they were like 8-3 after that game, right? So it was like, there was like 5 or 6 games left on the season. The Jags had like a 4-game lead. There was like no way they were going to lose it, and they went 1-5 and to end the season and completely dumped us out of a playoff spot.
Perfect. All right, let's actually go up to Ruben. I want to see your record prediction.
So I'll start with number 4. I do think it is the Tennessee Titans. They're trying to figure themselves out. There's still some questions about, the offense and the O-line. I'll give them between 4 to 5 wins. I'm leaning more towards the, the 5.5 side. But I think it's just going to be another year of them trying to figure themselves out.
You bastard, I gave you the division.
Yeah, at 3, it's Indy. And, the biggest question mark is Danny Dimes. No one believes in Danny Dimes, not even Derek. So it's going to be a question of how close to the number 1 overall pick can the Colts get. I think they should already be trying to get there. But I have them being 3rd in the division. So I'll give them between, also 4 to 5 wins. I would not be surprised if Colts are 4. Second, I do have Jacksonville. I do think Jacksonville is going to be respectable this year. I will give them 7 to 9 wins, 10 on the very high side. I think Trevor Lawrence and new coach Liam Cohen are going to figure some stuff out, and I think the offense is going to be a lot better than what people think. And of course, at number 1, I do have the Houston Texans. I'm going to go between 10 to 12 wins. Realistically, around 10 or 11, and I'm praying for 12 because I really need a round 2 playoff game in Houston. But I can't say 13, 14, anything higher than that because I've never seen this Houston Texans team go anything higher than that. So I'm going to say 10 to 12 wins, third time AFC championship, your third championship in a row.
Okay. Well, I mean, Derek, I got to hear from you now because we've had 2 of your co-hosts essentially say that they don't believe in your Colts. They've got you well under the prediction of where you had them, at least when you had AR in there. So now that Danny Dimes is starting, I've got to know, what are your record predictions for the division, man?
Yeah, I wish I had more confidence in my team right now. I'll have the Titans at 4th. I think they can range anywhere from, 4 wins this year to, 8 wins. It can go a lot of different ways, but I think they'll probably finish around 5 or 6 wins. They still got a lot of issues on their team that they need to fix up outside of their quarterback right now. So, things need to be better there. 3rd place, I will go Indianapolis. Again, I don't have a lot of confidence right now in Danny Dimes. Maybe he changes my mind. Maybe after a couple weeks into the season and, he's playing somewhat like, maybe like what Gardner Minshew did in 2023. It is what it is. I can't be that guy that's just going to go crazy. I think the high ceiling, we could go 10, 7, 11, and 6, but I really do feel like we won't quite hit that number. Second, I'll go Jags. They're always hanging out right at around that 9-win-ish type season. So I'll probably leave them at that. And then Houston, despite all the struggles that they have, I still think that they'll persevere because they have the best quarterback and probably the best coach in the division at this current moment. So I'll give Houston the division in that one.
Okay. So how many wins did you have the Colts at again? I just want to make sure that I'm
I'll say 8 and 9. I'll say 8
Okay.
and 9. Jags 9 and 8. Houston 10 and 7.
Okay. All right. That's very different. Very different than the other 2. I
don't have faith in this team, brother. I wish I did.
All right. Okay. I mean, but your non-faith is still like double the guys that also don't have faith in your team.
Yeah, that's also true.
Just throwing that out there.
I don't have faith, but I think we're going to be a fringe playoff team.
What is okay? Let me ask you this, Derek. What is the identity of your team this year? Like, why do you, even though you don't have faith in them, right? And a lot of that does come down to quarterback. I do understand that. But like, what is the identity of the Colts that can carry them to be, an 8-win team that could possibly, if things break right, get into the playoffs? Like, what is that you look at and say, okay, this unit is the identity of this team, or these units, I guess?
Well, I mean, it has to start with the run game with Jonathan Taylor. I mean, that's always been the identity ever since Jonathan Taylor has been an Indianapolis Colt. I mean, he is one of those guys that if you give him the ball enough times, he is going to make plays that are just going to create an impact. And, you have to be able to run the football if you're this team. I like our running back room. I really feel like we're going to have a great one this year. And, offensively, that's the big aspect of this. And then, defensively, I really hope the defense actually makes an impact this year. I have higher confidence in Lou Anarumo and his defensive style to create more opportunities defensively than it has in years past. I don't know about the points per game. That probably will be close to the same. But if you can give up the same number of points per game as you have the last few years, but you can create an extra turnover or more a game, then that can really impact the offense in a way going forward. Again, I'd like to see what the Colts are going to do offensively. It's hard to say that it's anything other than the run game that's going to carry the team because We know what Danny Dimes usually is, and this Colts team hasn't had a quarterback that could consistently all year long push the ball down the field since Phillip Rivers in 2020. I mean, Carson Wentz did it at the beginning part of 2021, but as the year went on, he faded away, and we haven't had good quarterback play since then. So do I think Danny Dimes is going to be any different? I don't. I struggle to face that fact right now.
Guys, you know what I feel is going to happen here. I mean, I can. It's almost like I can predict the future. I have a feeling by week 9, we're going to hear Derek saying, Danny Dimes might be a top 10 quarterback. I can feel
No,
it.
it's
I
coming.
can
It's
feel it
coming.
coming, guys. It's in my bones. I don't know why. I predict in the future here. I can see it.
Are
You're
your
gonna come
bones
around, Derek.
drunk?
I would love to be able to say that. If that ever happens, I mean, I would love to see it. I mean, he's got to have more than 9 touchdowns by the time week 9 comes around.
Bro, one of the best moments was it was like, I forget when it was, but it was when Carson Wentz was with the Colts, right? And then Derek tweeted out that like Carson Wentz is having a great year.
Yes.
He is the future of the Colts. And then in week 17 against the Jaguars, all the Colts had to do was beat a 2-14 Jaguars team to get into the playoffs. And then they lost. And midway through the game, Old Takes Exposed retweeted the tweet.
I don't know if it was week 17 that he did that. I can tell you exactly what it was. Like, Eagles fans, you miss Carson Wentz yet? Because at that time, Carson Wentz was doing much better than Jalen Hurts at the beginning part of that year. And so I did that. And then like 5 weeks later or something, he starts going on this like epic downslope of terrible games. And Jalen Hurts is going up. And then,
No, it was in the middle of that Jags game in the final year.
Me big time, dude.
Derek, that sentence that you just said, Carson Wentz just fumbled the ball again.
I will say that's probably my most, my highest viewed tweet ever. I'm pretty sure I got like almost 5,000 likes on that tweet. So because of that. So thanks, Old Takes Exposed. I appreciate you bringing all the Eagles fans to my mentions. Thank you.
Bro, is Danny Dimes not the most like Indianapolis Colts journeyman quarterback ever? I mean, Carson Wentz, like
Literally.
Matt Ryan, Phillip Rivers, like Danny Dimes, like Joe Flacco. He looks like the most perfect Colts veteran, like coming back for a second stint type of guy I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there was a clip last week. He was throwing a deep ball to Adonai Mitchell. Dude, he had to put everything he had into that throw. He had to whip his head back when he was trying to throw it just to be able to get enough power behind it just to be able to get it there. It's like, I'm not excited for that.
All right. Well, maybe week 9, instead of saying he's a top 10 quarterback, we might be predicting who the next bridge quarterback is for the Colts. So we'll, either one, I could see it either way. We'll figure it out as the year goes along. All right, Dalton, give me your record predictions for the division.
Oh, yeah. So I guess I'll start at the bottom. Like, I think the Titans are going to have one of those years where they start off just with a lot of losses and they're in the race for like number 1 overall pick. But I think they're going to be one of those teams that toward the end of the year, they're going to start getting some wins. You're going to look at them and be like, oh, look, the Titans went, 4-3 in the last like 7 games or whatever. Then it's going to kind of help them a lot. But I would probably put the Titans at 5-12. Like, I think the Titans' biggest mistake was that they didn't start rebuilding in 2024. Like, they tried to attack, like, they went out, they signed Calvin Ridley, kept D-Hop, traded for L'Jarius Sneed, right? I feel like they should have started the rebuild in 2024 and then gone through it again in 2025. And then 2026, they can move forward. But now it's almost like they're in year 1 of a rebuild where, they got to build the roster this year, maybe even a little bit more next year. And it looks like they may not be able to compete until 2027 unless they absolutely nailed this draft, the next draft. It just feels like they're a little bit of ways away from that, actually competing for a division title. So I'll say that. I'll say the Colts, the Colts, I feel like, have a good amount of talent. Like, they have a lot of players. If you look at them individually, like, they have a good roster. But I just think that their team is just getting a little bit stale. And even Pat McAfee called them out that like the culture just needs to be changed. Like last year, they were like, a lot of them were Twitter watching. A lot of them were kind of mocking him because Pat McAfee was basically calling them out for what they were, right? They're just a bunch of losers that have no discipline, that aren't deserved a lot of respect, right? And that's all still in the building, right? They still have the GM Shane Steichen. They still have the GM Chris Ballard. They still have head coach Shane Steichen. So I think that they're like in a situation that even if they go like 7-10, I think if they miss the playoffs, they got to blow everything up, right? I mean, Richardson is already gone. I mean, he's well on his way out. I mean, we all know what happened there. He's been benched, but I think with new ownership, they need a whole organizational reset. And I'm not sure what the record's going to be this year. So I'll say maybe like 6-11 or 7-10, somewhere around that. And then I think that'll be good for them. I mean, if I'm a Colts fan, I'd want to lose a bunch so I can because you want this job to be attractive to a GM and head coach, right? What's a more attractive job than a team with a top 3 pick, that needs a quarterback and they can go in there, the GM can build it, they can get the head coach. Like it just makes the job a lot more attractive, right? So I think it's best for Colts to bottom out. They don't really do that very often, so I'll say 6-11. I'll say the Jaguars in second place. As much as I want to put the Jaguars in first place, like I just gotta see it. And I think right now the Jaguars' floor would probably be like 6-11, but I think the ceiling is maybe 10-7. Maybe they can push for an extra win. It's just the Jaguars have a lot of pieces. I just got to see them do it, right? But the good thing that is a lot of it really rides on the quarterback play, and there's only one quarterback, and that's Trevor Lawrence, and I really do believe in him, and I think that pairing him with a bunch of wide receivers and at least a middle tier offensive line, right, and actually good offensive coaching, like I think really the sky's the limit for him. So I'll split the difference. I'll go 8-9 for the Jaguars, and I absolutely think that they can push for a playoff spot. I just don't want to be on record saying that they're going to do this and just not do it, because I'm in kind of a let's sit back and see it instead of trying to hype them up over just a bunch of kind of hype right now, right? Because that's all it is right now is hype, because they haven't proved anything on the field with this new regime. So that's what I got there. And I'll say the Texans go 10-7. Like Texans, very, very talented roster. There are of course questions. Like I think CJ Stroud is really good quarterback, but man, like if you have a bad offensive line, it can make a quarterback look a lot worse than what they are, right? Their mental clock gets sped up. They don't throw the ball as well. I think they have a pretty good roster. I still do question a little bit of D'Amico Ryans, because a couple of it is because of this. One, it seems like they can't beat good teams in like November or December, right? They can do it at the beginning of the year. In September and October, they can kind of take care of these guys. But toward the end of the season, when they're trying to push for playoff seeding, they can't knock off the Chiefs. They can't knock off like the Ravens and stuff like that. So they had to do it. I still need to see D'Amico Ryans take that next step. I think that he made a big mistake last year where it's like, dude, fire the OC. Why are you still keeping Slovic around? He kept him around, and it never really did get better last year, right? They won a playoff game, but ultimately the offensive scheme held them back. And I think if D'Amico Ryans would have taken over and switched that, I think they could have made a little bit more happen, and maybe in the postseason. But we'll see. Those are my AFC South rankings, and I'm just excited for games to actually start in a couple weeks.
Ruben, every single person on the panel picked the Texans to win the division. Does that make you a little nervous, or are you pumping your chest out over that one?
No. It doesn't make me nervous at all. But when you won the last two, a three-peat, and we're talking about the division here, so of course everyone's looking up at Houston. But it's just we got to live up to the expectations. And I know as much as it's been fun at the top, if I ever get down there, it's gonna be rough. So hoping this Houston Texans team, they're looking good. But we're
all right.
We all kind of had the same standings.
Pretty similar. Yeah, pretty similar. Yeah. I mean, I think all of you guys were realistic. You could definitely, somebody could have came on and given the homer take and trolled all season, whatever. But I do like that you guys were all realistic. You have Michael taking his team and saying that they're last, and you got, Ruben and everybody else picking the Texans to win the division. So I thought you guys were very honest, realistic, good to go.
Can we also talk about one more thing Rossi said last week that was crazy that I'm not going to let him live under? He said that Calvin Ridley was going to have more receiving yards than both Brian Thomas Jr. and
he did.
I completely forgot he said that. What was he drinking or what was he smoking last week, man? I don't remember this Rossi, but I don't know, man. I think
that was his debut.
Man. I think he's got some Heisenberg type shit up there. I don't know what's going on.
I guess he just had to come out with guns blazing that show. I can't really speak for Rossi one way or the other. I will say, however, Calvin Ridley should have about a 1,200-yard season.
Oh, I like it.
If the drops don't get to him, that's the one thing.
They've been putting up dots at practice. We'll just see if it translates to the playing field.
It's just hard with Calvin Ridley because he is so, like, I'm a Jags fan. I experienced him. He is electric at practice, right? Crisp route runner. He's electric, catches everything. But I don't know. In the games, man, it's just, he'll put up 100-yard games and it just still feels like underwhelming. And he'll drop the big ball that needs to be caught. I don't like, I mean, he quietly has had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, right? But it's felt forgettable for the Jaguars is because he had some crucial drops, and he had it last year for the Titans. I can't really speak for Titans fans. Obviously, you know, not a lot of national love or eyeballs on them just given the record, but it just never feels super authentic.
Quan brings up a good point. He says, if Ridley can get to 1,000 with Levis and Rudolph, Cam's going to feed him. You might be on something with 1,200. You might be onto something with 1,200 yards. Listen, there's 262 people watching on YouTube right now.
You got to
go. You guys could hit that like button.
Though. That 1,200 is going to be hard to get when you go against 24
or 12.
Yeah, that's going to be fun though. That's going to be fun. Make sure that you guys hit the like button because that's how it pushes everything out to the algorithm, gets more viewers, gets more people in the chat, more trash talk. We want to keep it jumping all season long. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so. Also, check out the sponsor of the show, RotoWire, promo code RTS for 15% off, the best tandem fantasy football app in the business. For Ruben, Dalton, Derek, and Michael, I'm your host, Jesse. We will be back next week and all season long representing the AFC South. Until then, peace.
Duval.